That year, my parents died and the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. I cut ties with my sister at her hardest time. 5 years later, her company went public, achieving fame and success. She became the highly respected President Hua. A reporter asked who she was most grateful for over the years. My sister's expression was cold, her tone sarcastic. The brother who left me for money. No, now he's not even my brother. How is he doing? The reporter launched a nationwide search for President Hua's brother. A reward of millions. But they never found me. Only my diary from before my death. When the reporter handed that diary to my sister, she froze in place, and I trembled as I took it. But in the next second, she threw the diary into the trash. This is Huanyan's new trick. Or are you doing this for show? The reporter shook his head, carefully picked up my diary. This is indeed your brother's diary before his death. As for his body, it has been cremated, because no one claimed it. So the crematorium handled it. Before he could finish, my sister stood up in rage. Don't think playing this game will make me forgive you. Go tell Huanyan. Now I have a brother. He means nothing to me. Even if he died, I wouldn't care. The reporter looked at her awkwardly. So what should we do with this diary? My sister Hua Wantong sneered. Go ahead and read it. I want to see how he can make this up. Dear diary, hello from now on. Please take good care of me. You're the only one left with me. Let me tell you. Today, I took the gifts my family bought me and got caught by my sister when I tried to run away. I didn't want to face her. I just wanted to leave home quietly. But my sister was so annoying. She grabbed my hand and begged me not to leave, saying I was her only family left. At that moment, my heart trembled. But I still coldly asked, since the company went bankrupt, can you still buy me the motorcycle model I like? I spend money recklessly. Can you still afford to keep me? Rather than living with you and thinking of ways to save money every day, I'd rather find a rich woman willing to support me. I happen to know one. But my sister got even more anxious. She asked who it was, saying don't get scammed, and said she would work even harder and earn a lot of money to make sure I lie the young master I used to be. But guess what I said? I'm willing to be scammed. What's it to you? If you have the ability and money to support me, I'll still be your good brother. I'll still come home. But when will you ever have money? My sister, who was so strong-willed, actually knelt down to keep me. Pretty pathetic, right? I turned my face away and wiped away the tears from my eyes when she wasn't looking. I even slapped her, telling her to stop clinging to me, don't ruin my future, and even declared I was cutting ties with her. That slap really stunned my sister. She stood there frozen, watching helplessly as I dragged my luggage away. So sister, that must have hurt a lot. After reading that page, the reporter took a deep breath. He didn't expect President Hua to be so dependent on her brother. But the camera turned to my sister. Her expression showed no emotion. Still cold. She just said lightly, I do regret it. Regret being so good to him before, raising an ungrateful snake. Dear diary, I'm here again. Today I went to another hospital for further tests. I really hoped the earlier diagnosis was a mistake, so I could go back and tell my sister I regretted it. If I just softened up to her, my sister would forgive me lie before. But how many miracles are there in life? That doctor, a stern uncle, said to me, where are your parents? Primary liver cancer. It's already advanced and needs immediate hospitalization. I didn't really understand, but the fear of death still made me cry. I'm only 18. The doctor looked at me sympathetically and gave me the hospitalization payment slip. I ran to the payment machine, took one look and sneaked out of the hospital. Forget it. I linked my sister's main card. Let me save her some money. After all, I'm going to die soon. Why waste my sister's money? Her money is hard-earned. Ever since the contractor my parents worked with ran off, the project collapsed and the capital chain broke. My parents ran around under immense pressure and got into a car accident during a business dinner. Both passed away. The company's burden fell on my sister's shoulders. I saw debt collectors come to our house and empty out everything valuable. And my sister, to save the hundreds of thousands for my study abroad, knelt on the ground and kowtowed to people. But in the end, the assets were seized by the bank. To pay off the debts, my sister went around borrowing money, drank until she got gastric bleeding and was hospitalized. But she had no time to see a doctor or money for treatment. She checked out as soon as she woke up and went back to chasing business, begging everyone, acting like a servant. I cried and begged her to rest until she recovered. She said she was made of iron and nothing would happen. Don't you think my sister is pretty foolish? I wanted to se the burden. I wanted to tell my sister, I don't need to study abroad. I'm not the spoiled young master I used to be. I can give up everything. I can even take on part-time jobs to support her. But I never expected that at this critical moment, I'd get the most expensive disease. Dear diary, don't you think I'm pretty useless too? The reporter's eyes turned red. It seems your brother did have a reason to leave back then. Getting liver cancer at such a young age. How pitiful. Wantong sneered. This is a well-played sobshitari. Reporter Lin, don't be fooled by him. Huan Yen is the best at deceiving people. When he was a kid, to skip school, he lied to our parents that he sprained his ankle. It scared our whole family. We all rushed him to the hospital. His acting has always been good. I hope so. I couldn't sleep again last night. I don't want to sleep. It hurts too much to fall asleep. The illness is getting worse. I really can't get through it without buying painkillers. But I have no money. Now there are more important things. If I don't pay the rent soon, I'll be kicked out by the landlord. I might actually experience sleeping under a bridge like I told my sister as a kid. I used to read martial arts novels and thought it was so cool when heroes slept under bridges. But now that I'm grown up, I'm really scared. No money to spend. I had to put the gifts my parents gave me up for Zio on Lai. Those were the few things I brought with me. But when someone actually asked about them, I always found excuses to refuse. In the end, I just couldn't bear to part with them. Finally, in pain and starving, I couldn't hold out anymore. So I withdrew 500 from my card. Sorry, sister, for spending your money again. After becoming poor, I found my picky eating habit was cured. When I was about to pass out, I even picked up the dirty bun from the trash and ate it. It was actually pretty good. Seems poverty can cure all rich kid habits. I went to the supermarket and bought a bag of steamed buns, a jug of mineral water, and some painkillers from the hospital. I'll save the rest for rent. The teacher called me again. He urged me to study hard. Skipping class with such good grades is a waste. I was afraid he'd contact my sister, so I suggested dropping out. But the teacher still called my sister. My sister just called me. Her tone was harsh and cold. Nien, I know you don't want to be involved with me. I don't care what woman you're with, but you shouldn't give up your proud academic achievements for her. Is this how you honor our parents? It's only been about 10 days since I heard her voice, but it felt like forever, like half a lifetime. I covered my mouth to stop myself from crying out loud, but I couldn't hold back the tears. Sister, I miss you so much. On the other end, my sister waited. Impatiently, she dropped another line. If you keep this up, I'll really stop caring about you. My sister hung up the phone, but I cried for a long time. Dear diary, I'll just block my sister. Tomorrow, I'll go handle the dropout procedures. The reporter noticed Hua was a bit emotional. She paused to wipe the moisture from her eyes. Turned to the next page. Dear diary, I moved. The original hotel cost 510,000. Too expensive. I ran around all day, across the whole city, finally found a place in a remote village in the south, for only 310,000. The room had 4 beds. Across from me lived a creepy uncle. I was scared of him from the first glance. I gave that sister a grateful look. He lived below me. His name was Xiaoyang. He looked up and smiled at me. Don't worry, I've got your back. Sister is so nigh. That night, I took my meds and slept soundly. I had a dream. In the dream, Mom, Dad, my sister, and I went to Disneyland, knowing I loved Iron Man. My sister queued up for me for several hours. When it was finally my turn, my sister called my name and pushed me in front of the Iron Man actor. Finally got a photo with my favorite ENGDUB. I smiled so hard my eyes squinted. Mom, Dad, and my sister were nearby, watching me happily. But when I finished and turned around, they had all disappeared. The clear sky suddenly turned dark. I was scared, but no matter how I searched, I couldn't find them. I woke up in terror, drenched in cold sweat. My sister looked at me with concern. Are you okay? I shook my head. My sister asked why I was living here. I told her everything. I don't know why. I just trusted her so much. After hearing it, my sister stayed silent. She just hugged me. Her embrace was warm. My sister told me she was an orphan. After being adopted, she suffered abuse from her foster father. She couldn't take it and ran away. Started living on the streets as a teenager. She's dealt with all kinds of people and learned a lot of self-defense skills. She said, "Someone like you needs me to look out for you." My sister taught me many money-saving tips. Go to the supermarket and pick out expired fruit. Some stores will give you a refund, some won't, but they'll let you take the expired fruit for free. Also, go to the market. Pick up the veggie leaves the aunties throw away. Trim off the rotten parts. Blanch them in hot water and they're edible. Sister Xiaoyang also took me to do part-time work. Earned some extra cash, 60 in one afternoon. I held the money. For the first time, I felt I wasn't useless. I thought if I could earn this much every day, I could leave some money for my sister after I die. Thinking that, I laughed out loud. Sister Xiaoyang looked at me like I was an idiot. "You're that het pie earning 60 bucks. She tapped my forehead and said, "You're so hopeless, except, besides having to watch out for that creepy uncle every day, I also had to rush to wash up and get to bed first, because the hotel cuts power and water at 10. Living in that hotel was actually pretty het pie. It's almost time for the power to go out again. Good night." The reporter noticed. When she read about the creepy uncle, even the cold Hua quietly clenched her fists. He thought maybe Hua didn't show it, how much she hated herself, but then, he felt it might have just been his imagination. He turned to the next page. Continued reading. Dear Diary, I moved out. Because yesterday, my sister saw me coughing up blood. He clearly had no savings, but he insisted on taking me to the doctor. I hadn't told him I was sick before, just said I moved out after a fight with my sister. But I couldn't fool him. Maybe I really am a jinx. I don't want to burden my sister. Don't want to. This righteous sister I barely knew. She once told me she earned money to one day open her own auto repair shop, have her own home. I won't let you die young. When she said that, her eyes were full of stubbornness. I smiled and nodded. But in my heart, I thought, goodbye, sister. Early the next morning, I quietly left with my few belongings. Squatting to write my diary, my feet are numb. Let me rest a moment. Oh cool. My body is getting worse lately. I've started coughing up blood. I just couldn't help it again. Passers-by saw me lie this. Every single one was terrified. They kept their distance, pointing and whispering. I curled up into a ball. It took a long time before I looked up, until I saw blood dripping onto my diary. I quickly wiped it with my hand, but it smeared bigger. So diary, I got you dirty. I didn't mean to. The pain was just unbearable. While I was squatting to catch my breath, a shabbily dressed aunt came up to me and shoved some money into my hand. No matter how much I refused, she still dropped the money and ran off. I quietly followed her and found her with her disabled husband. He was holding a young child in his arms. She smoothed her hair and kissed the baby's cheek, then went back to busy selling fruit. I waited there a long time until dark. Half my body was frozen stiff. Most of the fruit was still left. The aunt sighed. Her husband said a few words of comfort and started packing up. They placed the bee-bye in a basket nearby. I put on my hat and walked over quickly. While they weren't looking, I slipped the money back into the bee-bye's clothes. Nai Shitari. I almost got moved by it. He's a sugar daddy. Ran out of money, so he's writing novels to earn cash. Reporter Lin. There's no need to read further. I'm truly ridiculous, sitting here wasting so much time. Since he's playing dead and won't face me, then I'll just treat him as really dead. I don't care anyway. With that, he stood up without a trace of regret and turned away. The interview abruptly ended, but this interview episode exploded in popularity. Someone dug up that 5 years ago, after 11 Iowa cut ties with his brother. He was seen visiting a psych clinic, leading to speculation. 11 Iowa, due to his parents' death and his brother's betrayal, suffered from severe depression, and after the company recovered, he adopted another brother. As for 11io was brother's diary. It sparked heated debate among netizens. Some cursed 11io was brother for seeking attention by pretending to be dead, leaving his own sister for money back then, making her face the bankruptcy crisis alone, causing her immense mental trauma. Now that his sister is successful, he starts playing the victim for sympathy, even writing a diary like this. Too bad 11io already has a new brother. Rumor has it, for his brother's 18th birthday, he rented out the entire amusement park and gave him a limited edition sports car. Spoiling him rotten wouldn't be an exaggeration. Others thought maybe there's a hidden truth. This diary feels really genuine, and the emotions are sincere. They can't believe someone who writes like this would be a gold digger. Regardless of the opinions, netizens were all eager to see what 11io's brother wrote next in his diary. For the sake of ratings, the TV station contacted 11io again, asking if he agreed to release his brother's pre-death diary, whether out of disbelief or true indifference. 11io's assistant said 11io stated, "This diary is now yours to handle. Whether to release or destroy it, he had no opinion." He also added, 11io said he only has one brother, Guang. Some found it satisfying and cathartic. See if 11io's brother can keep up the act. He doesn't even care. So they got the authorization. Not long after, the TV station broadcast a live show called Wen Yan's Pre-Death Diary. On screen, he looked solemn. "Lie all of you. I haven't read this diary beforehand. With 11io's authorization, I'll see it with everyone watching lie today. Please be kind with your words." Hundreds of thousands flooded the lie sheet trim instantly. Within a minute, it broke 1 million viewers. Everyone was waiting for reporter Lin to open that diary. Over at the Hua residence, assistant Lin Yi looked at 11io with a complicated expression. After hesitating for a long time, he finally spoke. 11io, we're about to start. 11io didn't even look up. I said I don't want to hear about him anymore. Reporter Lin took a deep breath and opened the diary. "Dear diary, today I found a little dog. I didn't want to bother with it at first, but it kept dragging its injured leg, following me and whimpering. Knowing I couldn't take care of it myself, I hardened my heart and walked on. But after 2 steps, I turned back and picked it up. In that instant, the little yellow dog's eyes lit up. It kept licking my palm with its tongue. I sighed. It must have seen I'm soft-hearted. I named him Long Life, hoping he'd be lucky and strong, not die young like me. I took him to the pet hospital. Just the checkup fees emptied my wallet. The surgery would take 2 days. If he doesn't get it, he'll die." I looked at Long Life in my arms and timidly begged the vet, "Can I bring him back for surgery in a few days? I have no money. Can't delay, latest by tomorrow." I carried Long Life out of the pet hospital, sat lost on the street corner, talking to him. "You're so dumb. Why not pick a rich person? Why pick someone who's about to die? And on top of that, I'm this broke. Where am I supposed to find the money for you?" A 2,000 yuan dog can't understand what I say. It just wags its tail happily, celebrating having a home. Looking at him, my eyes welled up again. So I had to walk to the ATM. Hesitating, I wanted to withdraw 2,000 yuan one last time. "Sis, this is the last time I pay you back." But unexpectedly, my sister canceled my supplementary card. My heart stopped. I had said I'd cut ties with my sister long ago. She had no reason to give me money. I never planned to contact her again. But for Chongsheng, I had no choice. I unblocked my sister's contact from the blacklist. I called, and the phone rang for a long time. Just when I thought she wouldn't pick up, she finally answered. She snorted coldly. "Regret it? You blocked me, then reached out yourself. Didn't you say you wanted to cut ties with me? Or are you out of money?" As soon as she spoke, she choked up all my words in my throat. I wanted so badly to just hang up, but the puppy in my arms reminded me to ask for 2 days. My sister was silent for a moment. Then she questioned, "You haven't contacted me in so long. Don't you care if your sister eats well, sleeps well, or misses you? You just want money, right?" I bit my lip hard. A salty taste surged from my throat. I forced it down. I answered mechanically, "Debt." My sister seemed to choke up. "Fine. You want money, right? I'll give you everything. Are you satisfied? I shouldn't have held out hope for you. Wen Yan, you really have no heart. From today on, I'm cutting ties with you as siblings." She hung up, and I couldn't hold it anymore. I crouched on the ground, holding Changsheng, and vomited blood. So much blood, but on the dark floor. It didn't seem to show much. Changsheng seemed terrified. He kept whimpering, licking my face. I comforted him, patting him. It hurt, but I was numb. My heart ached more. I looked at my phone. I'd already received the 20,000 yuan my sister sent. When I tried to transfer the extra back, I found my sister had blocked me. I held Changsheng and cried for a long time. I knew my sister truly didn't want me anymore. Before, I hoped she'd forget me and cut ties with me, but now that she actually did, I was so sad I couldn't breathe. Changsheng, I don't have a home anymore. The comments flew by. Why is this so heartbreaking? Even if this song is made up, this shijiri is too touching. I'm already in tears. Hurry up. How's Changsheng? The puppy can't talk. It just celebrates having a home. So far so good. There were still some calling it fake, pity baiting, but compared to before, it was just a drop in the bucket. Now everyone was more worried about Changsheng's safety. Urged on, reporter Lin composed herself. She turned to the next page. Dear Diary, long time no see. I have good news. Changsheng had surgery. He's healthy now, but he's a very clingy dog. He follows me everywhere, even sleeps curled up at my feet. There's also bad news. My illness got worse. I don't know how long I have left. Maybe less than a month. When I buy lots of painkillers at the pharmacy, the staff look at me warily, always thinking I'm an addict. Luckily, I still have my diagnosis. After begging a bit, they soften and give them to me. But the painkillers are losing their effect. To sleep, I have to take more. Yesterday, while handing out flyers, I suddenly collapsed on the roadside. It scared Changsheng. He kept licking my face and barking at me. Finally, a kind person came and took me to the hospital. I had to pay another fee. I calculated with a heavy heart. Not only did I lose my part-time pay, but I also lost a lot of money. I must be hospitalized immediately and notify my family. If this continues, you might soon. He didn't finish, but I knew what he meant. I brushed it off and quickly left the hospital. No way I'm staying in the hospital. At the hospital entrance, I found Changsheng. As soon as he saw me, he ran over. But at night, I still tossed and turned in pain. Changsheng sensed my suffering. He was anxious but couldn't help. He just pressed close to me and kept licking, as if he was about to cry. I weakly raised my hand to comfort him. It's okay. But the next second, I couldn't help rushing out and vomiting into the toilet, as if I was throwing up everything inside me. I don't know how long passed. I vomited until the world spun. Later, I regained consciousness from Changsheng's licking. I looked in the mirror. Even I was startled. So ugly. Thin hair, sallow skin, my once round cheeks, now so thin my chin was sharp. My sister used to tease that my BB face made me look harmless, but now it seems this face might stay forever. Staying young forever isn't such a good thing. I want to grow up little by little and stay by my sister's side, watch her settle down, get married, and be happy. I washed my face and patted my cheeks, cheering myself up. It's not all bad. At least my sister can't see me lie this, or she'd be terrified. I took painkillers and barely fell asleep, but started running a fever in the middle of the night. Dear Diary, it hurts so much. Actually, I miss my sister so much. I want to see her one more time. Just a glimpse from afar would be enough. That wish shouldn't be too much, right? I'm going out to see my sister, bringing Changsheng along. For that, I prepared a hat, a mask, and a black trench coat. Looking see you, Lia Paparazzo. I just need to see my sister from a distance. Dear Diary, I'm back. Sister is still as beautiful and capable as before, taller but thinner. I originally wanted to just see you and leave, but you looked so unhappy. She used to laugh so much. I just followed you without thinking. I don't know why you went to the hospital. Why did you see a therapist? I asked your doctor after you left. She wouldn't tell me. Said it's patient confidentiality. After I begged repeatedly, she finally sighed and talked about your condition. You're sick. Very sick. Our parents' death hit you hard. My leaving made you blame yourself deeply. You think you failed to take care of me, so I resented you and left. You even started hurting yourself. I cried, then cried and laughed. Sister is so foolish. I'm the useless one. I only held you back. You're the best sister in the world. You'd save up a year's allowance to buy me an expensive birthday gift. You'd beat up the school bullies who picked on me, even if you got punished for it. You handled everything after Mom and Dad died, bearing all that pressure alone, still giving me a good life. How could I ever resent you? The reporter suddenly stopped and showed the diary to the camera. Everyone noticed. This page, besides the neat handwriting, had tear stains dried into it. He must have cried for a long time. Tears soaked this diary page. Even the reporter's eyes got wet. She steadied her choked voice. I'm so useless. I can't do anything. I watched you walk right past me, without the courage to hug you. The moment our eyes met, you looked away. You didn't recognize me anymore. I look like a ghost now. It's better you don't see me. I don't want you to be sad. Dear diary, I've made up my mind. Instead of dying in pain, I'll end my life on my own terms. Do you think I'm right? I'm really losing my mind. I talk to you all the time, and to Chongsheng, as if you'd answer me. But what about Chongsheng? I can't just abandon him. I want to give him to you, to keep you company, and so he has someone to care for me. That's so clever. But then I thought, tomorrow is my birthday. Just hold on one more day. I don't want to die on my birthday. Last year on my 17th birthday, Mom and Dad got me a custom, limited edition gaming setup. I opened it. Dad patted my shoulder, laughing, saying I'm the coolest kid. You gave me a mechanical watch, shiny and expensive, but those gifts were taken by asset seizure. What I have left now are the cheap ones. I carry them everywhere. When I had no money for food, I never sold a single one. When I sleep, I hug the brown bear Mom bought me at 8. I'm hugging her. Mom, Dad, and you said, at my coming of age ceremony, you'd throw me a huge birthday party to celebrate your little prince turning 18. But now it seems only Chongsheng is with me. I hold him. He's the only warmth I feel. Chongsheng seems to sense my mood. He starts licking me with his wet tongue, my hands and face, trying to warm me. It tickles. I laugh and kiss him. I take him to a cake shop. I want to buy myself a small cake. On past birthdays, I didn't lie the big cakes Mom and Dad bought. I haven't had one in a while, but I'm drooling. Seeing the price tag of a few hundred, I stood there, heart aching. The clerk came over impatiently, asking if I'm buying. If not, leave. She glanced at Chongsheng in my arms, frowning, said no pets allowed. But I just saw a guy with a poodle. Maybe because Chongsheng is dirty, I couldn't afford to bathe him at the pet shop. I apologized and bought the cheapest chocolate cupcake. I found a park bench, sat down with Chongsheng, no candles. I just silently went through the motions, closed my eyes and made a wish. Hope Chongsheng stays safe. Hope you achieve success and lie long, and be het pie forever. I opened my eyes and fed the cake to Chongsheng. He ate happily, as if celebrating my coming of age. I was hungry, but after a few bites, I threw up everything on the side. Finally, I took Chongsheng to the pet shop, gave him a bath. Costs 200. The owner said he's never seen such a well-behaved dog. I took the clean Chongsheng. Smelled so good. I took a deep breath. Chongsheng is a gift from heaven. Now I want to give him to you. Hope you can take good care of him, and hope he can be with you for me. And the 20,000 in my card, I'll secretly slip it under your door too. If nothing goes wrong, I won't AP dead anymore, because tomorrow I'll go to another world to see Mom and Dad. Dear diary, I'll miss you. Chongsheng, I'll bless you and sister too. I'll always watch over you. I thought it was over, but reporter Lin flipped to the next page and saw the words, so Changsheng, I didn't take good care of you. Sister, did you think he was a stray dog, or that he didn't want you? I was hiding nearby. I wanted to wait until my sister took Chongsheng away before leaving, but Chongsheng broke free from the leash and ran toward me. If only I had handed him to my sister myself, would he have been okay? I kept crying, begging Chongsheng not to leave. Don't leave me. But he lifted his head with difficulty, whimpered once and licked my face, then closed his eyes. I held Chongsheng tight, sang him a song. Good doggy, open the door. As I sang, tears streamed down my face. I buried Chongsheng on the small slope beside Mom and Dad's grave. The moon isn't full tonight, but it's bright. I can't wait until the 15th. Chongsheng runs slower. I'm coming to find you now. And goodbye Mom, Dad and sister. The neighbor finished the diary with tears in his eyes, and the comments flew by fast. What, Chongsheng died? And Wen Yen died too? The author is so cruel. It's one thing for him to die, but But why did he have to kill the dog too? What did the dog do wrong? Changsheng is so pitiful. Don't hurt me with a dog's death. Did Huanyan really die or not? Is this a show? Someone tell me? Based on police records and our investigation, Huanyan died 5 years ago. This isn't a stunt or a fake. Respect the dead. Please be kind with your words. As for this diary, we will keep it preserved. We won't respond to any other questions. Thank you all. Then reporter Lin ended the lie she trim. The netizens' curiosity went unsatisfied, so they messaged 11io was Weibo. Too many people commented and searched on his page. It even trended on Hot Search. 11io was brother Huanyan is dead. Is the diary content from before his death real? And the sister mentioned in the diary posted on Lie asking did Nyan die? So for leaving without saying goodbye. I searched for a long time but couldn't find him. I failed him. If I had taken him to the doctor sooner, he wouldn't have left so early, nor would he have suffered so much. Most people were skeptical until he posted a photo together. In it the boy with a bright smile matched the earlier leaked photo of Huanyan perfectly. Then everyone believed him. Netizens were devastated. They believed the diary was real. The whole internet began mourning Huanyan and Changsheng. Trending topics popped up one after another. Nian Changsheng will bring you home. Nian Changsheng. Are you doing okay in the other world? Finally, it alerted 11io was assistant. He stared at his phone for a long time, hesitated but still spoke up. 11io what did you see a dog 5 years ago? Beige-colored 11io looked at him puzzled. After a moment he nodded. That day I came home from the office. Found a small dog tied to a pot by the entrance. All beige with a pink nose. Very clean and cute. Clearly a pet dog with an owner. Remembering he also loved animals, I went up and petted the dog. It was very gentle. Kept wagging its tail at me. I thought the owner would come back, so I went home. Soon I heard a commotion outside. Walked to the window to look. A boy was holding that dog crying in the middle of the road. Crying very sadly. That must have been the dog's owner. They said the dog hadn't seen its owner. Panicked, broke the leash and got hit by a car. The assistant froze, then his phone rang. He looked down at the file sent to his phone. His heart sank. 11io I'm so During this time, I investigated the diary matter behind your back and your brother's whereabouts. He really is dead. The police registered his death certificate 5 years ago. It's real, can't be faked. He died by poison suicide, and the diary is real too. After speaking, the assistant dared not look at 11io was reaction, so he opened those notes. Take a look at what Huanyan went through later. His diary has been made public on Lie today. I think you should know too. At the door he added, your brother really had a hard time. After leaving 11io was office, Assistant Lin gently closed the door. After that soft click, the world seemed shut out. Only Hua Wantong remained in the office, with the heavy investigation file in his hands. Time stood still. The coldness and indifference he had forced earlier, like a pricked balloon, instantly deflated and vanished. He didn't even have the courage to open the file right away. His fingertips coldly touched the rough edge of the paper. His mind uncontrollably flashed back to the interview. When the reporter took out the diary, his heart tightened unnaturally at that moment. When he heard the diary's content, those doubts and stabs he had forcibly suppressed, slight and sharp, and that line, I wanted to keep him company, so Changsheng would be taken care of. Back then he thought it was Huanyan's clumsy lie, but it was Lie poisoned needles, piercing into his heart one by one. He finally tremblingly opened the file. The first page was a copy of the police death certificate. Black and white, cold format. Name Huanyan, gender male. Date of death that autumn 5 years ago. Only 3 months after their last call. Just 3 months. Cause of death, location found. A small grove by the river on the city outskirts, near the public cemetery, where his parents' ashes were buried as mentioned in his diary. Found by an elderly man walking his bird at dawn. Body disposal unclaimed. Cremated by the funeral home per regulations. Ashes stored temporarily, then to be ecologically processed. Every word was like a dull knife, cutting back and forth across his heart. The words unclaimed turned into a solid slap, hitting him hard in the face. What was he doing back then? He was consumed by the anger and pain of feeling betrayed. Maybe he was getting treatment at some psych clinic. Maybe he was forcing a smile at a cocktail party. Maybe he never even thought to verify whether he was really still alive somewhere. Attached were copies of some scene photos. photos. The resolution was low, but enough to see the situation clearly. A young man so thin he was almost unrecognizable, quietly leaning against a tree trunk, wearing the black trench coat mentioned in the diary. His hat covered most of his face, empty pill bottles scattered at his feet, and sleeping pills in his arms. He was clutching an old, worn-out brown bear plushie. Huawantang recognized it at a glance. It was the birthday gift from their mom when he turned 8. He had kept it with him all this time. There was also a photo of where the diary was found, right beside him, carefully wrapped in a plastic bag. As if afraid of dew, he protected it until the end, the only diary he could confide in. Huawantang's breathing grew rapid, her vision quickly blurred. She suddenly covered her mouth but couldn't stop, the broken sobs rising from deep in her chest. The tears she thought had long dried up now burst forth like a dam breaking, burning hot against her skin. "Nian Nian, my Nian Nian," she murmured. Her voice was hoarse, not sounding like herself. It wasn't a sympathy act or a made-up Shitari. He was truly sick, truly destitute. In the final days of his life, he endured the pain of illness and the coldness of the world. Yet he still thought of her, his unworthy sister. He deliberately said those awful things, pushing her away in the most hurtful way, not because he didn't love, but because he loved too much, loved enough to bear all the blame and pain himself, rather than become a burden to her. And what did she do? She believed his act and hated him for 5 years. Even when she learned of his death, she said things like, "Even if he died, I wouldn't care," such awful words. She adopted a new younger brother, trying to fill the void he left with transference, but never truly tried to understand his desperation back then. Overwhelming regret and guilt drowned her like a tidal wave. She remembered their last phone call. He said, "I gave you everything. Are you satisfied? I shouldn't have held any hope for you. Huanyan Fei, you really have no heart." Then he hung up decisively and blocked her. When he heard those words, how much pain must he have felt? Did he cough up blood again, crying uncontrollably while holding that dog named Changsheng? The long-suppressed pain finally broke through her throat, turning into a piercing wail. Huawantang could no longer hold on. She slid off the chair and collapsed onto the carpet, like a lost child, curling up and crying loudly. Her cries filled with despair, self-blame and the pain of what couldn't be undone. She pounded the floor hard, her nails nearly digging into the expensive carpet fibers. "I could have saved him. I could have recognized him. How did I not recognize him?" This thought gnawed at her sanity repeatedly. That day outside the psych clinic, that skinny paparazzi wearing a mask and hat was her Nian Nian. He just looked at her like that, but she coldly walked away from his sight. If only she had stopped back then. If only she had asked a question. If only. But life has no ifs. Outside the office, Lin Yi and a few secretaries heard the sound of her breakdown crying inside, exchanging glances, their eyes full of worry and sympathy, but no one dared to go in and disturb. They all knew Bothua needed this release, to face this bloody truth head-on. Huawantang didn't know how long she cried, until her voice went hoarse, until it seemed all her tears had dried up, leaving only uncontrollable sobs and shudders. She lay on the floor, staring blankly at the ornate chandelier on the ceiling, feeling like the whole world had lost its color. The next day, Huawantang didn't come to the office. Lin Yi handled the urgent matters. With worry, he went to Huawantang's villa in the evening. He used the spare key to open the door. A strong smell of alcohol hit him. The living room was a mess. Empty bottles were scattered everywhere. Huawantang was still in yesterday's work suit, curled up in a corner of the sofa, hair disheveled, eyes swollen, face still bearing traces of dried tears. But in her hand, she was tightly clutching the copy of the diary. "Bothua," Lin Yi approached cautiously. Huawantang slowly lifted her head, eyes unfocused. It took a while for them to focus on Lin Yi's face. "Lin Yi," her voice was so hoarse it was barely audible. "Did he hate me? Did he hate me in the end?" Lin Yi's heart ached. He crouched down and gently took the empty bottle from her hand. "Bothua, according to the diary, Mr. Huanyan never hated you. He wished for your happiness until the very end. Happiness, I lost him. What right do I have to be Pai?" She reached for another bottle but Lin Yi stopped her. "Bothua, you can't keep doing this. If Mr. Huanyan saw you torturing yourself like this, he wouldn't be at peace in heaven either." "Heaven," Huawantang murmured. Tears welled up again. He was so afraid of pain. How scared must he have been going alone? Changsheng wasn't even with him anymore. In the end, he was holding the bear from Mom. She couldn't continue, just silently wept. Lin struggled to get Huawantang into bed. He gave her some water, watched her drift into a dazed sleep, but her brows were still tightly furrowed. Lin sighed. He knew Huawantang needed time, but in this state, what about the company? And what about her own health? In the days that followed, Huawantang seemed like a different person. She stopped going to the office, refused to handle any matters, locked herself in the villa all day with only bottles for company. She tried to numb herself with alcohol, but in her drunken haze, Huan Yan's figure only became clearer, following behind him as a child, softly calling out "Big Sister," awkward during rebellious teenage years, and finally that silhouette in the night, holding his dead puppy, crying helplessly. His adopted younger brother, Huayu, called from abroad via 6DO, staring at the face on screen that resembled Nian, yet was carefully sculpted by material things. Huawantang suddenly felt a strong disgust and guilt. What was he doing, looking for a substitute? It's unfair to Huayu, and even more a desecration to Nian. He shouted at the concerned face on screen, losing control and screaming, scaring Huayu into confusion. Soon after, he arranged to send Huayu to a good boarding school abroad, and gave him a large trust fund, enough for a worry-free life. In his email to Huayu, he wrote only one line. "Sorry, I'm not a good big sister. Go lie your own life." He cut ties with this substitute, as if doing so could lessen the debt to his real brother. Company business plummeted. Shareholders complained bitterly. Media began reporting on rumors that 11-I-Hua had a mental breakdown due to personal reasons. Lin was overwhelmed but couldn't wake. Huawantang, drowning in pain and self-blame. The turning point came late one night. Huawantang passed out drunk on the living room carpet again, half asleep and half awake. He seemed to see Huan Yan standing before him, wearing a clean white shirt, smiling as brightly and warmly as in youth, with that beige-colored little dog wagging its tail happily. "Cheng Sheng, big sister." The illusion of Huan Yan spoke, voice gentle. "Stop torturing yourself, oh Ku." Nian. Huawantang reached out but grabbed nothing. Tears blurred his vision. "I'm sorry. Big sister was wrong. I never blamed you." The illusion's smile remained warm. "Seeing big sister so capable now, I'm really happy and proud. Big sister, please lie well for me too, and be happy. Oh Ku, that's my biggest wish." Nian. Huawantang sobbed uncontrollably. "Promise me, big sister." The illusion began to fade, voice growing distant. "Promise you, big sister. Promise." Huawantang shouted urgently, suddenly sat up from the carpet. The living room was empty, only moonlight streaming through the window. No trace of Huan Yan anywhere, but that dream was exceptionally clear. Nian's words seemed to linger in his ears. Overwhelming grief swept over him again, but this time, within the sorrow, there seemed a faint but firm strength. Debt. Nian wished for his happiness until the end. Him wasting himself like this. Nian watching from above would be so sad. He couldn't let Nian down, and couldn't make Nian's sacrifice meaningless. The next morning, when Lin came to the villa with worry again, he was surprised to find Huawantang already up, showered and changed into clean clothes. Though still pale and haggard, his eyes were no longer lifeless, but held a cruel clarity and determination. Huawantang's voice was still hoarse, but calm. "Lin, help me contact the best private doctor for a full physical checkup. Also notify the board for a 6DO meeting this afternoon. 11-I-Hua, I'm fine." Huawantang interrupted him, gaze falling on the bright sunlight outside. "Or rather, I have to get better, for Nian and to atone." Huawantang began self-rebuilding with amazing willpower. He actively cooperated with doctor's treatment, quit drinking, tried to eat and sleep, forced himself back to a normal life routine. He returned to work, with stricter efficiency than before, handling company affairs, quickly stabilizing the downward trend. But those close to him could feel. The 11-I-Hua who once had some warmth was gone. Now he seemed more like a precise, cold work machine, as if only endless work could fill the void inside. Yet outside of work, he began a secret, long search. He wanted to recover all traces from the last period of Huan Yan's life. He needed to find out, during the 5 months he was absent, how Huan Yan actually lived. First, through Lin, he found Xia Yang, who posted online. In a private room at a quiet cafe, Huo Wantong met this woman with a hint of streetwise in her brows. Xia Yang looked at Huo Wantong with complex eyes, sympathy, reproach, and a hint of relief. 11 Iowa, you finally came. Xia Yang sighed. I looked for you, but your assistant stopped me. I thought you really didn't care about Nian Nian anymore. I do care. Huo Wantong's voice was low, with a barely noticeable tremor. I'm just a blind fool. Please tell me everything about Nian Nian. Xia Yang looked at this seemingly strong woman, with deep, bottomless sadness in her eyes, softened and began to tell, starting from that dirty, run-down village hotel, about Nian Nian's innocence and stubbornness, about him coughing blood but refusing to go to the hospital, about how she forced him to reveal his terminal illness, about him giving all his savings to take her to see a doctor. He was too considerate, heartbreakingly so. Xia Yang's eyes reddened. He always said not to burden me, said I don't make money easily, to save it for opening an auto repair shop. When he left, he only took a few clothes and that worn-out teddy bear. I searched for him for a long time after, went everywhere he might have gone. Hospitals, parks, under bridges, but this city is too big. Couldn't find him. Xia Yang choked up. If I had watched him more closely, if I could have forced him to the hospital. Huo Wantong listened quietly, her nails dug deep into her palms. Back when he resented him, there was a stranger who gave him brief warmth and shelter, and searched for him, while she, his own sister. Huo Wantong took a deep breath, and said solemnly, Thank you, Xia Yang. Thank you for helping him when he was at his worst. Do you have any wishes or need help? Just say it. Xia Yang shook her head. I don't need anything. I didn't pot for anything. I just wanted everyone to know that Nian Nian was a good kid. He didn't deserve to be misunderstood like that. And Ms. Hua, if you really want to do something for him, then lie well. Don't let his death be in vain. Xia Yang's words echoed Nian Nian's dream plea, hitting Huo Wantong hard in the heart. Leaving the cafe, Huo Wantong followed Xia Yang's clues to that urban village. A year later, it had been demolished and a new mall built. He stood at the busy intersection, trying to imagine how Nian Nian struggled to survive there back then, how he dodged that creepy uncle, how he was het pie with a few bucks from a part-time job, a dull ache in his chest. He went to the supermarket and market from the diary, even found that pet hospital. The pet hospital Ma Najio was still there. Huo Wantong showed a photo of Huan Nian, saved on his phone, a carefree smile from when he was 17. The Ma Najio looked long, then shook his head. Too many pets come in daily. Can't remember. Huo Wantong didn't give up. He described Changsheng, a beige mutt with a hurt leg. The Ma Najio frowned, thinking hard, seemed to have a vague memory, some impression, but details are fuzzy. Huo Wantong didn't give up. He used connections. Found it. The police officer who handled Huan Yan's case back then. The old officer was near retirement and remembered the case well. He took Huo Wantong to the riverside woods where Huan Yan's body was found. The old officer pointed at a big tree by the river, sighing, that kid. Ah, just looking at him broke your heart. Right there, so quiet, lie he was asleep. We investigated for a long time, found no evidence of murder. The diary confirmed it was suicide. Not much stuff. Just that doll and diary, and some loose change. We followed procedure, posted notices for family. No one ever came to claim him. The old officer glanced at Huo Wantong. The rest. He didn't finish. Huo Wantong stood under that tree. Early summer wind rustled the leaves. Sunlight filtered through the branches, dappled light spots. It was so quiet here. You could hear the babbling she trim. Nian Nian chose to end his life here. Was it because it's closer to mom and dad? In his final moments, looking at this quiet woods, what was he thinking? Was he remembering childhood? When mom and dad took them on picnics, he crouched down, gently touched the rough bark, as if he could feel his brother's last warmth. Tears silently fell, soaking into the soil. Nian Nian, big sister is here, so I'm late, he whispered, his voice breaking in the wind. Finally, Huo Wantong went to where their parents were buried. Next to their parents' joint grave, he found that small, unassuming mound of earth. According to the diary, this should be where Changsheng was buried. The mound was covered in green grass, with tiny wildflowers blooming. He carefully cleared the weeds around it. Then, beside Changsheng's small grave, he buried a small, delicate urn with his own hands. Inside were the ashes of the original diary. He had someone use special tech to cremate the diary without pollution, then brought those ashes back. He stroked that small mound. Chongsheng, thank you for staying with Nian Nian in his final days. Now please keep staying here with Nian Nian, and with Mom and Dad. Oh, cool. After doing all this, Huo Wantong stood before his parents' grave, looking at their kind photos on the headstone. He bowed deeply 3 times, his voice calm and firm. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry I didn't take care of my little brother, but I promise you, from now on, I'll lie for Nian Nian too. I'll lie well and do things to make Nian Nian's death meaningful. Back in the city, Huo Wantong made a major decision. He held a press conference, announcing he would put most of his personal assets into the newly formed Nian Changsheng Charity Foundation. The foundation focuses on 2 areas. One is funding poor young cancer patients, providing medical costs and psychological support. 2 is helping stray animals, building proper rescue centers and adoption systems. At the press conference, Huo Wantong, for the first time in public, openly mentioned his brother Huan Yan. Without going into details, he just said, my brother Huan Yan received kindness from strangers in his life and felt life's fragility and hardship. Starting this foundation is to honor him and to help those like him who are going through pain and struggle. I hope every life is treated with kindness and every act of kindness continues. His move shocked the business world and moved countless ordinary people. The voices that once doubted and mocked him gradually turned into understanding and respect. People finally understood. Behind that cold 11-eye lay such a deep pain and redemption. The foundation's work quickly took off. Huo Wantong was hands-on, reviewing projects, visiting sponsored kids in hospitals, and visiting rescue centers for adoptable animals. In this process, his face occasionally showed some real, gentle expressions, though the sadness in his eyes never fully faded. He seemed to find a way to coexist peacefully with the pain. He often visited a children's hospital funded by the foundation, watching from outside the ward as children fighting illness. There was once a little boy with the same sickness as Huan Yan, who lost all his hair from chemo, yet still smiled at him so cheerfully. At that moment, Huo Wantong saw a glimpse of Nian Nian as a child. He walked over, gently touched the little boy's head, and handed him a brand new low-altitude model. The boy's surprised smile stirred a warm ripple in his frozen heart. He also tried to help Xia Yang again, wanting to invest in opening an auto repair shop to fulfill his dream, but Xia Yang refused again. I appreciate your kindness, President Hua, Xia Yang said with a carefree smile, but I still want to earn money on my own, and now I volunteer at the foundation, helping coordinate stray animal rescue. I find it quite fulfilling. This is probably what Nian Nian would have wanted. We're both living well in our own ways. Huo Wantong didn't insist further. He respected Xia Yang's choice, and was grateful to fate for letting his brother in his final moments meet such a loyal friend. Back then, he always said steamed bun with soy sauce was a delicacy. Xia Yang looked out the window, his voice calm. I knew. He was just too hungry to have any other choice. Every time he talked about it, his eyes sparkled, as if he were eating some rare feast. Huo Wantong listened quietly beside him, her nails nearly digging into her palms, just to hold back tears from these details. They were far more vivid than the words in the diary, and even more painful. Each one cut into his heart like a knife. Now he knew everything. He knew how Nian Nian ate cold steamed buns with cold water in winter. He knew how he curled up in pain on the bed, but never made a sound. He also knew how the little dog Chongsheng, at his hardest times, licked away his tears with a wet tongue. He got the address from Xia Yang, of the urban village where Nian Nian used to lie. Though it had long been demolished and replaced with tall buildings, he still often drove there alone, parked by the roadside and did nothing, just staring at the new buildings, imagining how his brother dragged his sick body and struggled through it all. He still handled company matters efficiently, but his former drive seemed much dimmed. He delegated power to others. Unlike before, when he had to oversee everything himself, outsiders said President Hua, after his brother's death, had let go and focused on charity. Only his assistant Linny knew that Huo Wantong's heart was never truly at peace. In his study, the copy of the diary had worn edges, next to a pile of materials on liver cancer treatment, hospice care, psychological intervention. He was conducting a very long research on the brother he owed so much. His gone seemed to be endlessly rewriting the unchangeable past in his mind. Time flew by so fast. In a blink, the diary live stream that shocked the nation was already 3 years ago. Nian Changsheng recently helped over 1,000 families, and Huawantong earned many honors from it. One drizzly afternoon, he received a phone call from the nursing home. It was Huayu, the brother he adopted, calling from overseas. Huayu's voice was hesitant and worried. "Sis, while sorting your old stuff at the house abroad, I found a well-hidden photo album full of Nian's childhood photos and some diary fragments you wrote when you were young, never shown to anyone. I read those things and discovered some facts that even you might have forgotten about the time around our parents' death. Some vague truths that seemed deliberately hidden." Huawantong's hand, holding the phone, trembled slightly. Raindrops hit the window, making his heart uneasy. He asked Huayu to send those things back. A few days later, the package arrived. Besides the photo album, there were a few yellowed papers, notes from Huawantong's teenage years. The handwriting was a bit messy, showing strong emotions. It recorded the night before their parents' car accident, a fierce argument at home. The fight was over a major company decision. Dad insisted on taking a risky gamble, and Mom supported him. But young Huawantong strongly opposed, even said in anger, "If you do this, you'll drag us all down." In the diary, she wrote about her resentment toward their stubborn parents and her fear of the future. The last line said, "If this family falls apart one day, it will definitely be their fault." These words, buried by time, like a rusty key, suddenly unlocked a door in Huawantong's memory that was tightly sealed. He collapsed into his chair, breaking out in a cold sweat. He finally remembered, on the day of their parents' accident, because of the fight the night before, he didn't even see them off, and in all the years after, the immense grief and guilt made him selectively forget this unpleasant memory, only remembering how good his parents were to him, and how helpless he felt. So while Nian endured his pain alone, subconsciously, I was also carrying another layer of guilt over our parents' death. I always thought Nian's leaving was a punishment for my uselessness. I never considered that this might also be fate's retribution for that harsh word I said back then. This layered guilt almost crushed him completely. He locked himself in his study for 2 full days. After coming out, he said to his assistant Lin Yi, "I want to go pay respects to Nian and Chongsheng, and Mom and Dad too." In the cemetery, the joint grave of Nian and Chongsheng is right beside Mom and Dad's grave. He arranged that later. The boy in the photo, his smile is still so bright. Chongsheng obediently crouched at his feet. Huawantong wore a black trench coat, standing in the drizzle without an umbrella. He stared at the photo on the tombstone for a long time, then slowly knelt down. He didn't cry. He just gently wiped the water droplets off the photo with his fingers. "Nian, big sister seems to understand something. I always thought I wasn't good enough. That's why I lost you. But now thinking back, maybe it started even earlier. Our family's fate was pushed onto a path, a hard one. Dad insisted on taking risks. Mom supported him, and I was too willful back then. Plus your unfortunate illness. All of this mixed together led to what happened later. Big sister was wrong. Wrong for being too young and saying awful things back then. Wrong for the years after, only thinking about proving myself, not seeing you were pretending. Wrong for knowing the truth and just tormenting myself. Almost forgot your final wish. You said you hope I'm het pie for life. Big sister used to think that was impossible. Without you, where would my happiness come from?" She paused there. Rainwater streamed down her hair, mixing with tears she couldn't hold back at the corners of her eyes. "But now, big sister wants to try to make it happen. I'll keep helping you. Watch over Nian Changsheng. Help more kids like you. I'll run the company well. Turn it into a place that can help more people. I'll also try to truly accept my life now, including Huayu. That kid has had it tough too, Nian. Big sister might never fully forgive herself, but I promise you, I won't bury myself in the past anymore. I'll carry my memories of you and lie on well and earnestly. That's probably the only thing you want to see, right?" He bent down, gently pressed his forehead against the cold tombstone, as if he could feel a response from the other side of life and death. The rain slowly stopped. A faint ray of sunlight broke through the clouds, shining on the cemetery, lighting up the white chrysanthemums he just placed. The raindrops on the petals sparkled. Huawantong stood up, took one last look at her brother's photo, then turned and walked away. His steps weren't as heavy as when he arrived, though still slow. There was more of a grounded feeling. Wind blew through the maple grove by the cemetery, rustling lie a sigh, or lie a whisper of letting go. The shijiri could end here, about forgiveness and redemption, about how to keep moving forward with all your scars. Huawantong's life has finally turned the most painful and tragic page, and started writing the next chapter. That chapter will still hold deep longing, but maybe a bit of his own. Peaceful light will slowly seep in. Huawantong's daily rhythm subtly changed. He was still busy, but not with that self-punishing, almost frantic busyness. He started seeing a therapist regularly, confronting the complex emotions deep inside, about his parents' death, and the overprotectiveness toward Huanyan that came from it, along with the later guilt. This process wasn't easy, often accompanied by insomnia and mood swings, but he persevered. His relationship with Huayu also entered a new phase. After receiving that old photo album and diary fragments, he for the first time took the initiative to call Huayu for a long overseas conversation. He didn't over-explain the past entanglements, just sincerely thanked him for showing him a forgotten corner. He told Huayu he understood the distance and unease he might feel, and clearly stated that regardless of blood ties, they are now a family. He hoped to build a more genuine connection with him in the future. Sis, take care of yourself. The Nian Changsheng Foundation, with his ongoing investment and professional management, kept expanding. He was no longer satisfied with just financial aid. Started building a professional medical social work team, providing psychological support and hospice care to recipients. At a foundation annual dinner, a young girl who was helped held his hand. The girl was in tears. Aunt Hua, thank you and Brother Huanyan for giving me a second life. At that moment, what surged in Huawantong wasn't just comfort, but a strange sense of peace, as if Nian Nian's life was continuing in another way. He still went to the cemetery, but no longer always immersed in grief. Sometimes he brought a bouquet of sunflowers Nian Nian liked, sometimes just sat quietly for a while, telling them about the foundation's recent progress, or complaining about troubles at the company. Just lie when his brother was still around. He even once placed a brand new toy in front of Changsheng's small tombstone. Changsheng, take good care of him. Time flies. Another 2 years passed. After a business forum ended, Huawantong was in the hotel lobby and unexpectedly ran into an old acquaintance, the reporter who first found the diary and hosted the live broadcast back then. Reporter Lin, now a well-respected media figure in the industry. With a bit of weariness at his temples, Reporter Lin smiled and greeted him, with a hint of subtle inquiry in his eyes. President Hua, long time no see. Huawantong nodded in response, his tone calm. Reporter Lin, you look well. The two sat down in the hotel's cafe. After some small talk, Reporter Lin hesitated, then spoke up. President Hua, how have you been all these years? Huawantong gently stirred his coffee. His gaze drifted past the bustling street outside, and slowly said, not exactly well, but not bad either. Learned to make peace with myself and coexist with the past. I guess that's growth. But my price was too high. That diary changed many people, including me. It made me understand life's fragility more deeply, and the weight of family bonds. I've always wanted to formally thank you, and apologize, for revealing the truth that way back then. I should be the one thanking you. You brought me Nian Nian's final voice. Though the process was painful, without that diary, I might have lived in my own lies forever. That would have been truly unfair to him. A moment of silence. Reporter Lin seemed to have made up his mind. From his briefcase, he pulled out a slightly yellowed craft envelope and pushed it toward Huawantong. Huawantong looked puzzled. This was found with the diary. When sorting Huanyan's belongings back then, I felt the timing wasn't right, so I kept it all this time. Now I think it's time to give it to you. Huawantong's heart skipped a beat. He took a deep breath and carefully opened the envelope. Inside wasn't a letter, but a slightly faded color drawing, clearly torn from a notebook, with uneven edges. The scene was carefully drawn with colored pencils. Blue sky, bright sun, green grass, a girl with a ponytail, and a bright smile. Clearly a young Huawantong, holding a little boy. Huanyan, with one hand, and a beige puppy, Chongsheng, with the other. Mom and Dad stood behind them, with het pie smiles on their faces. In the top left corner, in crooked but earnest handwriting, it said "My family" by Huanyan. Wish, hope sister is always het pie. On the back, smaller, Messier writing, added later by Huanyan in ink. Darker color, sister, I'm so and I lop you. Tears instantly blurred Huawantong's vision. He could see the boy tormented by illness, in his final days, enduring pain with trembling hands, stroke by stroke, sketching his deepest wish, a reunion he could never achieve. No resentment, only apology and lop. He clutched the thin paper tightly, as if it were the world's most precious treasure. Tears fell on the drawing. He quickly wiped them with his fingertip, afraid of smudging his brother's trace. Huawantong choked, speaking to reporter Lin and himself. He was always thinking of me. Reporter Lin's eyes reddened. He nodded silently that evening. Huawantong carefully framed the drawing, and hung it in his study, next to a copy of the diary. He stood before it for a long, long time. In the days that followed, Huawantong would still be the formidable 11io in business, the powerful founder of the Nian Chongsheng Foundation. But deep inside, a corner would forever remain soft for that 18-year-old boy and his little dog. He no longer tried to forget, but chose to remember. He carried this heavy lop as he walked through life, living the way he hoped to see. He knew life's rainy season might come again, but in his heart, for himself and Nian Nian, he had already raised an eternal, warm umbrella. The Shitari's ending wasn't all het pie, but it moved toward a scarred, yet real completeness in Huawantong's life, gradually forming a new normal. The drawing titled "My Family" lie a tiny beam of light, shone into the coldest corner of his heart. It didn't erase the sadness, but strangely dissolved the sharp self-blame. He realized, Nian Nian left him not just pain and regret, but also such pure lop and blessings. This realization truly gave him the strength to move forward. He began planning his life more actively, not just work. He picked up oil painting, a hobby from his youth, and joined a weekend class. The studio smelled of turpentine. The feel of the brush on canvas brought him a long-lost peace. He painted landscapes and still lives, but never people, especially family. That drawing was Nian Nian's unique masterpiece. He couldn't bear to copy it. His relationship with Huayu grew more natural. After college, Huayu chose to return to China, not joining the Hua group, but using his own abilities to join a tech Isekai'd AP. Huawantong respected his choice, only offering advice as a mentor. When he faced career confusion, not as a command, they occasionally had meals together, talking about work and life, like a close brother and sister. Once, Huayu brought his girlfriend to meet him. The girl was nervous. Huawantong smiled gently, handed her a red envelope. Get along well. Be considerate of each other. In that moment, he could almost see, if Nian Nian were still here, as his sister, he might have experienced a similar scene. The Nian Chongsheng Foundation's influence grew daily. They began collaborating with top medical research institutes on early liver cancer screening and targeted drugs. Huawantong was no longer just a donor. He personally joined some project discussions, offering suggestions from a patient's family perspective. At a project review meeting, a young researcher excitedly reported a new detection technology. This new detection technology could potentially increase early liver cancer detection by 30%. Huawantong listened, his eyes slightly warm. He remembered Nian Nian was already terminal when diagnosed. He pinched his palm hard, suppressing the surging emotions. If only there had been a chance for earlier detection. It strengthened his resolve to support this type of research. Time flowed peacefully, until one autumn afternoon, Huawantong got a call from the nursing home. Not about Huayu, but about Xia Yang. Xia Yang collapsed from overwork and illness. Her condition isn't looking good. She wants to see you one last time. Huawantong immediately canceled all plans, drove to that small town. In the sterile hospital room, Xia Yang looked thinner than remembered, pale-faced, but her eyes were still clear and stubborn. Xia Yang saw Huawantong, smiled weakly. 11io Hua, you came. Huawantong sat by the bed, gently held her thin hand. Don't call me 11io Hua, just Wantong. Xia Yang shook her head, catching her breath. Habit, and you are the 11io after all. Time's short, something I've thought about for long. I think I should tell you. Hua Wantong's heart tightened. Go ahead. Xia Yang's gaze drifted to the window, as if reminiscing. Nian Nian left you a message before he passed. Not in his diary. That day he was in bad shape, in great pain. Half conscious, he grabbed my hand and said, Sister Yang Yang, if my sister ever finds out later, you tell her. Xia Yang paused, breathing a bit fast. Hua Wantong quickly handed her water, but he waved it off, insisting on continuing. He said, tell her not to grieve too long. Find someone who can be with her. Don't end up alone like Mom and Dad did. And eat warm meals every day. His voice grew weaker. The last word was almost inaudible. Hua Wantong's tears fell silently. Don't grieve too long. Find a partner. Eat warm meals daily. That was her brother's final concern. Hua Wantong choked up, buried her face in Xia Yang's hand. That silly kid. He never blamed you. He always said you were the best sister in the world. A few days later, Xia Yang passed away peacefully. Hua Wantong buried her next to Nian Nian's grave, placed a bouquet of sunflowers. Now go reunite with him. She started taking meals seriously, hired a soup aunt, occasionally learned to cook. The kitchen warmth made her feel grounded. One evening, Hua called, project successful. His voice full of energy. Hua Wantong listened. A smile crept onto her face. She went to the study, looked at the drawing my family. This time no tears, just a soft promise. I will lie well. Carry on with your lop. She still visited the cemetery, but more like visiting an old friend, bringing tea, chatting about life. That drawing moved to the bedroom, reminding her of Lop's presence. The Nian Changsheng Foundation gathered hundreds of thousands. Early screening projects saved many lives. Every time she heard such news, the regret in her heart lessened a bit. At an international charity forum, someone said Nian Changsheng embodies Eastern philosophy, remembering the departed to cherish life. Hua Wantong smiled, relieved. This has indeed become my path. Hua Yu's project succeeded. He made a name in tech circles. He brought his girlfriend Lin Wei to meet her. The girls' braised pork had a hint of their mother's touch. Warmth spread in Hua Wantong's heart. 10 years passed. Hua Wantong's temples grayed. Her eyes grew calmer. She gradually delegated power, focused on strategy and charity, filled the garden with sunflowers and white chrysanthemums. A documentary director contacted her, wanting to film Nian Changsheng's Shi. She agreed after thought, but demanded authenticity. Focus on the foundation's work. On camera, she was composed and efficient. Her eyes lit up when talking about the foundation. How did you move past that shadow? Not move past, but learn to carry it. Loved ones become part of us. Nian Changsheng means turning longing into more possibilities for life. The documentary sparked a quiet response. Her Shi became a model for rebuilding after loss. At a wedding, she watched the couple on stage, and the empty seat she saved for Nian Nian. Those who couldn't be here must be het pie for us. Sis, be het pie. Hua Wantong became a grandmother, holding her granddaughter Nian Ting. The little one's eyes reminded her of Nian Nian. She pushed the stroller, walking through the sunflower field. Look, this is great uncle and Changsheng. They lop you very much. When Nian Ting was 3, she babbled out. Grandma, the soft voice touched her heart. Hua Wantong spent time telling her fairy tales, but never mentioned that heavy name. Hua Corporation became an industry benchmark. Nian Changsheng flourished. She stepped back, tended the garden. Flowers bloomed and fell. Nian Qing pointed at the brightest star. Grandma, star so bright. Hua Wantong said softly, maybe great uncle is watching us. On her 70th birthday, Hua Yu gave her a handmade photo album. First page, a copy of my family. Nian Qing wrote, great-grandpa, great-grandma, great-uncle, Changsheng, and us. The last few pages were blank. A sticky note read, future days. We'll fill them together. Hua Wantong's fingers gently touched the photos, eyes wet, lips smiling. This gift told her, Nian Nian was never forgotten, warmly woven into the family's memory. In old age, she sorted old items, labeled them, so Nian Qing knew where the family came from. Finally, the 11-IO who devoted her life to charity passed peacefully. Before she left, she said tearfully, Mom, Dad, Nian Nian, you've come for me. I'm so I didn't take good care of Nian Nian. I've never seen an old person cry so heartbreakingly. But when she went, 11-IO Hua was very peaceful. With a childlike